Alright, let me talk to you about breech-loaded grenade launchers and blinding nades, because these things are too important for you to not know about. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know why I love breech-loaded grenade launchers with blinding nades. And I know I haven't gotten into full detail as to why, but let me do that now. If you're a Destiny player who's been around for a while, you probably already know why and what I'm going to say in this video, but if you happen to be a newer player or someone who is just starting to look into weapon rolls, then pay attention. If you watch my stream during the day one of the Vault of Glass raid, you know I almost used a truth teller exclusively during most of those encounters. And the reason being is because there is one thing that grenade launchers can do extremely well, and it is improve your survivability without any use of buffs or debuffs or anything like that, and that is blinding nades. Most grenade launchers have the capability to roll with blinding grenades on them, similar to how regular guns can roll with either armor-piercing or ricochet rounds. If you just look at the description of the perk, the minus 50 blast radius might turn you off initially, but that's not the thing that we're looking at here. Think of blinding nades as a flashbang grenade. While the explosion it sets off only hurts those who are directly around it, the purpose is to disorient enemies to give yourself the upper hand. The radius of the blinding effect is much larger than the damage radius of the grenade, meaning you don't need to damage an enemy in order for it to be blinded. The effect doesn't work on every enemy though. Most bosses, mini-bosses, or champions can't get blinded by these grenades, but that's to be expected. Though that's the case, there's almost nothing more I would want to take with me on a either day one raid or a Grandmaster Nightfall, regardless of the modifiers on it. I can almost hear it now though, in my Twitch chat, somebody saying, "But killing enemies in this game is so easy, why would I ever need that?" Because if you've played this game long enough, you know that not everything in this game dies whenever you look at it. And if you're trying to do higher tier content or guide a new player through anything, you know how squishy characters can be. So, if you're understanding what I'm saying, then I got a little bit more for you. In case you weren't aware, Banshee was selling the God roll version of Truth Teller the other day before Bungie decided to yoink the roll for a different one. I want to go into exactly why you want and should still be searching for this roll on any grenade launcher that can roll with this exact roll, plus a few alternative options that aren't all the way there but can definitely be used in a similar way as a substitute. The exact roll is Quick Launch, Blinding Grenades, Auto-Loading Holster, and Disruption Break. Now I'm going to tackle each of these in order. The big takeaway from Quick Launch here isn't the increase to velocity, it's the increase to handling. Handling, to some people, is a take it or leave it stat, but what handling governs overall is how quickly you can pull out or put away weapons and how quickly you can aim down sights. The ADS speed isn't actually what we're focused on here. It's more of how quickly we can get the gun out and put it away, which I'll go over more in a second. Blinding nades I've already been over. They blind enemies and prevent them from shooting at you and also make them wander around while blinded, which can cause them to enter some like damage over time effects like Wither Horde or a thermite grenade or something. Now, auto-loading holster mixed with the other two things are why this works so well. This perk does exactly what it implies. It automatically reloads your weapon while it's holstered and not equipped, so you don't have to worry about taking the time to reload it. And for breech-loaded grenade launchers, or any grenade launcher for that matter, this is a big deal. So after about 3 seconds of the weapon being put away, it is automatically reloaded. This ties in with Quick Launch. The synergy here is you basically use Truth Teller as a fire and forget method. You pull it out when you need it to blind a few enemies, and then put it away immediately after your grenade explodes, and in 3 seconds you have another grenade at the ready for you to blind even more. This is where that handling increase of Quick Launch comes in. The less downtime you have of pulling it out and putting away the weapon, the better you can capitalize on cleaning up those blinded enemies, or the more you can survive. Now, to me and a lot of other people, these three perks together are alone enough. So if you happen to roll a Truth Teller or something like that that has these three perks, and the fourth doesn't exactly match up with this roll, then I would still hang on to it and use it. The final perk though is the cherry on top. Disruption Break is admittedly not a number one pick for everyday use. It's more for those higher difficulty activities like Master and Grandmaster Nightfalls, or like Master and Day 1 raids. That being said, you cannot deny its usefulness. When breaking an enemy's shield with a weapon that has a disruption break, that enemy then takes 50% more damage from kinetic weapons. And that means all kinetic weapons, even teammates. This could lead your team to make insanely short work out of anything that has a shield and you use disruption break on. Now, of course, this is the popular role for Truth Teller, but what about other grenade launchers like it? Well, Empty Vessel, that you can get from a reward for the end of strikes in the playlist, can roll with the exact same thing. The difference is, though, is that Empty Vessel is a solar weapon as opposed to Truth Teller's Void. Another thing to note is that Empty Vessel can roll with a new perk for grenade launchers called Danger Close. What Danger Close does is increase the blast radius of your grenades from your grenade launcher when surrounded by enemies. Normally, I would not tell you to go for this, but if you're using Danger Close with blinding grenades, it doubles the area of the blinding effect, which is already incredibly high to begin with. Now, the other option we have for this is this season's Season of the Splicer Kinetic Grenade Launcher Ignition Code. The downside to Ignition Code is that it can't roll with auto-loading holster, unfortunately, but it can have something that is the next best thing, especially for grenade launchers. Slideways reloads your magazine when you slide after sprinting for a short time. So anytime you slide with this weapon in your hands, you can reload it, which means you could potentially get off more blinding grenades than a launcher with auto-loading holster. But it is honestly up to you, the player, on what you want to use. But since Ignition Code can roll with Danger Close as well, you'll definitely want to aim for a roll that has quick launch, blinding nades, slideways, and Danger Close if you want that sweet, sweet blinding nade combo. There is only one downside to all of this, though. I have been hearing whispers that maybe Bungie is thinking about nerfing blinding nades as a whole. If that is the case, and if that indeed is going to happen, then I think the only thing that's going to happen is they are going to decrease the radius in which the blinding nades affect enemies, which only means that you need to be more accurate with your blinding grenade shots. So, if you get one now and you start using breech-loaded grenade launchers now, you can get better with them over time, and by the time they actually nerf them, whenever that is, or if they do, you will be more than ready to land whatever shots you need to blind very specific targets for you and your teammates. As a final note, if you haven't used a breech-loaded grenade launcher before, I want you to know how they work in case you aren't aware of this. All of the lightweight frame launchers that I've talked about have a hold and release fire mode. Means if you tap the trigger, the grenade will just be launched and go off and bounce and do its thing, you know. However, if you hold the trigger down whenever you fire, you can then control when the grenade explodes by letting off the trigger. This can help you when trying to blind a certain group of enemies, or if you want the grenade to travel a certain distance but not off the map, or bank it around a corner, whatever. If you can nail the timing on when you let your grenades explode and how to angle them off walls and surfaces and the such, you'll be able to blind anything you want with very little difficulty. But that is going to be it for me for today, guys. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you like live content, you can catch me on Twitch. I am live every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do have a link for that down in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you all next time. And remember, keep your heads up and be kind to each other. Bye now.